Linh uống cà phê sữa đá.
Cà phê sữa nóng.
Fancy.
Chị ơi, mình lên YouTube rồi ạ.
Alright.
Okay. Okay, start. Good afternoon and welcome to VietAbroader first featured industry talk webinar. Today's talk will focus on a very broad industry topic, PR, marketing, and communication. Since it's the first ever FIT webinar, I'd like to first introduce the idea of the series of webinars to you guys.
Mình lên YouTube rồi ạ.
With the same mission of regional meetup project to provide resources to Vietnamese undergraduate students each year seeking for jobs in the US and deciding their future career path. FIT webinar is an online activity taking place at least once every month during the year, from September to May. The series of FIT webinars focuses on specific industries or skill sets in the career path. Q&A section. So, before we start the webinar, I'd like to inform to the audience that after the panel is the Q&A section where we have questions from participants sent prior to the webinar and during the webinar. The link for that is posted on with VietAbroader Facebook page and our Facebook event page. You can also comment to ask questions. At the end of this webinar, if we still have time, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Thank you. Today, we're pleased to welcome Chị Ngọc, a marketing analyst at Bean, and Chị Linh, an account manager at Publicist Kaplan Taylor, to our webinar. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi.
Chị Linh.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, Ngọc can go first.
No, that's okay. You go first.
All right. Hi. So my name is Lynn. I'm a account manager at Publicist Kaplan Taylor, which is the fifth largest advertising agency in America. My client is Wendy's, the fast food joint. So if you're familiar with the TV commercial with the red hair girl, that is from my team. So yeah, we'll talk more in details later now.
Thank you.
Your turn now.
I'm sure everyone knows Wendy and the Red Hair Girl commercial. Really, really popular. My name is, I go by Ruby because obviously no one can pronounce my name since I came to the US, so I go by Ruby. I'm a marketing analyst at Bean, and actually I just started this job 1 month ago. Before that, I was an associate marketing analyst at Tokyo Figure. I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yep.
That was it. For a lot of big data talk, and yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But primarily, my role is to do a lot of ad hoc report, a lot of reporting, and essentially work with the manager to understand just number tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your introductions. We're very pleased and honored to have you here with us today. First question, we'd like to ask you to what motivated and when you were motivated to decide to follow this career path.
So maybe some of you are a little bit too young to remember this, but our country was under U.S. sanction up until like 1995, and before that, if you can remember, all the advertising, all the TV commercial were very boring. Basically, just black and white and with very bad, slogan and banner and just very hard sell. Oh, buy this, buy that. I remember right after Bill Clinton announced that they lifted the sanction, like Coca-Cola. I was 12 then, and Coca-Cola appeared right away on TV right after the news with this like beautiful commercial. We're so happy to see you. And I remember I was really just attracted to that and just just view it. Like it's like, oh my God, it's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And from then on, for some reason, I'm just start paying attention to TV commercial. I never Most people hate them. I like them. I laugh at the good one. And just applaud the good one and laugh at the funny one, the bad ones. Um, and then my desire to work in advertising industry concrete when I was in high school. So I started doing research on college that offer the major, and I found out about Webster University, which is an American university with the main campus in St. Louis. Uh, and they also have a campus in Thailand, and that campus offer the major. Um, I talked to my parents and went study abroad, and my major was advertising and marketing communications. And yes, uh, study study the field after graduate, just and carve out my career, and here I am now.
Thank you for your answer. What about you, Chi? No.
I'm a little bit different from. Alright, let's check my sound first. Just want to make sure that everyone can hear me better. Is it better now?
Chị thử nói. Can you repeat that?
Is it better now?
Yep. Okay, it's better.
Okay. I just take off the microphone. My journey, not everyone had the chance to find what they want to do from a very young age. So I went to college in the US and did a major in management and then after that
Ồ, chị nói nó bị
let me try.
could could you try again? I'm sorry.
Better now?
Yep, we can hear you. Okay.
Alright. Where was I? So talking about that, and I did a lot of different internships. I was all over the place. I was in finance. I interned for Merrill Lynch, and then I even went to nonprofit. I interned in Taiwan. So in my last year of school, I'm like, okay, now I need to find a job. So after I graduated, I moved to New York and I started to search for a job and internship. And I always knew that I want to do some. I always wanted to do something with marketing, and through connection with my school, I was able to find an internship in marketing department. So I kind of went for it because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Just as long as this was something with marketing, I would go for it already. And as I would say, the rest is history.
Sorry, Chino. We just lost you for about like 5 seconds. I think it's maybe because of your internet. Do you think you can? Because I don't know. Because your voice echoes, and sometimes we can't hear you.
Okay, just give me a second.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me?
Um, yep. Yep. Okay, let's try this again. If this doesn't work, we may have to sacrifice, like, letting you on the video for the voice. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Is it better?
Yep, it's better now.
So I think I was talking about how I found my internship in marketing, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I stayed in my internship and I was able to find a job opening there. And I have to say that looking for a job in marketing is really challenging. They
Mhm.
definitely know about it. Just it's not even just because for a lot of reasons. And we are foreigners and we're trying to understand the domestic American customer mindset. That's already a challenge there because you just don't have the background knowledge about how they grew up, and that's a huge part of understanding who they are. So we can market to them better and then work. Um, I think a lot of my job through networking, and at that time I did not know anyone who have a job in marketing, so that made it a lot harder. So we can talk. I think later we definitely can talk about how do you get your foot in the door in marketing. So my so
Mhm.
my story is just that find some kind of have a direction of where you want to go. So the big direction here is marketing, and then you never know what it will take you to.
Thank you for your answer. Um, moving on from that, I would like to ask you, when you decided to follow this path, what organization or extracurricular activities related to this industry did you participate in to prepare for all of this? Um, either of you can go first.
So for for the program at Webster University, at your last so your last class, your thesis class to graduate, basically you they have a whole project. It's like a real advertising campaign that is organized by the American Advertising Associate. So it's very hands-on. They give you, we have to start from brief to execute creative idea, all of that, and then our professors actually also own an advertising agency in St. Louis, and he brought us into his agency, introduced us to different industry leaders, and then from then we can start networking, sending emails. But the thing is, it's still like Ngọc said, it's very hard for a foreigner like myself to break into the industry. Uh, to be honest, I right after graduation, I worked at a marketing assistant role first for a accountant firm, like an accounting firm that has nothing to do with ad agency. But then that's prepared me some different skill sets about like reporting, doing like status, doing CRM, and then after that, I moved back to Vietnam for like 2 years for some personal reason. And in Vietnam, I break into the ad agency world, work at Low, partner and work worldwide. And then at that, lucky for me, at that point, the creative director at Low Vietnam, he's originally from New York, has working experience in many different agencies in New York and have a very big network here. So when I moved back to the US and moved to New York, because I knew that if I want to really continue working at agency, New York is the only market uh, to that's big enough. And through him, there's a lot of networking. Take about like over a year. I take another job at a smaller agency doing multicultural uh, multicultural advertising, like for different ethnic group in the U.S., Vietnamese, Korean, Hispanic, Chinese. working that for another year as a stepping stone and continue, going interview in big name agency and finally get into publicist working for Wendy's. But yeah, like I've said, it's just you just you just need to be very patient. Put yourself out there. It's it's difficult. It's not easy. You there's have to go on so many interviews, but keep your faith. Have faith in yourself. Keep plugging in. And then at the same time, study the industry. Just keep learning on the internet. Keep don't don't stop training yourself. Keep a breath of what's going on out there, and one day people will recognize you for your qualifications. You can make it.
Thank you for advice, Tuling. That's quite a journey.
Yes.
How about you, Tingo?
Well, I had a journey too, but you kind of know about it already. But I would say your question is how what did I do to myself? Um, what I learned at school. Repeat. I thought I was good at Excel, and I wasn't until I started the job. But there are a lot at school that you need to be able to communicate with people and utilize it in your job. You have like your work, so really people. And
sorry, we just lost you. We just lost you right there. Okay, let's try this again. We're sorry for any inconveniences.
Can you hear me better now?
It echoes a bit. Would you try putting on your headphones or something like that? That maybe helps.
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
How about now? Can you still hear the echo?
Yes. No. This is way much better. Way much better.
Okay, that's good. Sorry for the technical difficulties. But I think let me continue. Another thing that I think is really important that you learn at school, but you cannot really notice it until you work, especially for us, people from Asia. Just because of cultural difference is when you're at school, you write a lot of essays, right? And the essays is really just about expressing your opinion and how do you back your opinion. How do you persuade people that you have a point and you have different things to back up your points? That's the same thing at work. If you, I learned this because I was, coming from an Asian culture. I was very shy about expressing my opinion, and I think that held me back at the beginning. But later on, when I learned that you really need to show who you are at work, and you think you have. You actually have thoughtful thinking about everything that you do, and when things come up and you have an opinion about what you think is appropriate way to do things and can back it up by either data or logical thinking, I think that makes you really shine at work. And I think that's having an education here in the U.S. really prepares me for that.
Thank you for your answer. To continue on that, would you describe your day-to-day job?
Immediately, sorry, just to clarify.
Could you describe your day-to-day job to us so we can know how your everyday looks like?
My day-to-day, interestingly, I just started my job 1 month ago, so it has not been very difficult, but I will, because my role is, I think it will be quite true for a lot of my current role and my previous role at Company Hilfiger is about 50% you will need to do things that need to be done on a regular basis. So you provide a lot of, because my role is an analyst, so I provide a lot of different reports to different people in the organization, so they can make the decision based on the report and keep track of the health of the business. The other 50% is really is very much project based. Because I am in database marketing, so we always have an organization usually use vendors to deal with marketing database. So a lot of that is relationship management with vendor, understanding, help them understand what we need, understanding what do we really need in order to build. First is to build up the relationship, manage the day-to-day with the vendor, and 3 is how do we leverage the relationship to take the company to the next level. So one of the big talk in my field right now is big data and how do we deal with big data, because before, traditional marketing, you can only track how much a person can do outside the internet. Like for example, but now because everything is online, so you can really track where they click on the product, how long they stay on the website, what is their source of entry. But before, when people just shop in retail store, there's no way like how long does a person stay in the store. So it's just the way the internet technology has evolved in our society now. The data has changed, so tackling big data is also a big part of my job. Looking at how do we really leverage data to help our business.
Thank you for your answer. How about you, Chiling? How does your everyday look like?
So working at an ad agency, especially as an account person, definitely there will be a lot of correspondence, emailing, cold calls, and tons of meetings and conference calls. But it's actually different from like days to day. Basically coming in the morning, check on email, check on status of my project. Have a quick, catch up with my supervisor, my assistants, just to see where things are, and then, make a to-do list among our team, make sure, we finish what needs to be done, and then it's very varied. There are days that, I will have to prepare for creative presentation, where waiting for storyboards or for scripts from our creative team to put into our deck, print out, set up a computer, my assistant for that. And then there are days that I will have to be at the studio for a food shoot in Chicago. That's where we shoot all our food, or have to run around like to another studio down in Soho, or at a partner city for radio recording. So I gotta say, and there's day that there's so many things going on, and you can stay and you feel like you don't even have time to use the bathroom. But then there are days that it's just a waiting game, sitting there and waiting for your client to approve things, waiting for your creative to deliver things. But so it's not. I feel like then that's the part that I like about my job, that it's every day is different, and then once you're done with one project, then you move on to the next one, and it will be a new set of challenge, a new set of creative. So it's not repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like a great job.
It is not too bad.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, we'd like to ask you something about more jobs in this marketing and advertising industry. So PR, marketing, communication industry is known to be a very large industry. Could you give us a brief description of this industry, including some examples of companies and positions offered? Chingo, how about you?
To the side. So a lot of companies choose to do marketing into their advertising marketing outside the company using an agency. So for me, when I look at I would like to stay on I stay on the client side, and they're just a lot more. I think they're a lot more control over what you do, and because so a lot of things that about marketing is a lot project management. So if you already you are in the pipeline of communication and you're waiting for so many people to get approval. So when you include another agency group outside, it's a lot of lag time, and I just understand that. So I keep staying on the client side of the industry. So most of the company have. Sorry, I think I have some technical difficulty here.
We can still hear you.
Yeah.
We can still hear you. Don't worry. Okay.
All right.
Okay. It's fine.
So for one, I understand that because of the way the marketing industry is changing now, and the big data is such a big talk, that actually a huge need of first is having the technical skill to deal with big data. The second thing is having the skill to analyze the data. So the first skill that I'm talking about is knowing how to use query language like SQL, like SAS, Python. So that's the technical. And then the second part, data visualization, is talking about Tableau. That's another really hot tool right now in the industry, and that are two very helpful technical skills to have when you go about tackling the kind of marketing analyst role, data scientist role in marketing. I think it's a really strategic way to enter a company, given the competition that we are having right now. You can really go to any companies that you can think they're having to deal with a lot of data to look for jobs there. I mean, all company that have deal with customer, and even like advertising agency where Tilling works, there's so much data that they need to rely on to make a good decision. So it's really, there are a lot of opportunities in the market right now.
Thank you for your answer. Your answer gives me a nice transition to the next question we'd like to ask you. What would you say are the soft skills and the hard skills needed for the participants to have, and the importance of them in this industry?
The kind of, well, let's talk about the hard skill. I kind of mentioned it in my previous conversation already. Is that having a little bit of some programming skill. It's pretty. The SQL is not very hard to know how to learn it, and you can you have different tools to learn it online. Tableau is something that if you have time, you should really look into it, because it's the talk of the industry right now. And don't worry too much about hard skill, because it's something that people are willing to teach you on the job. But for the soft skill, I think being very persistent about what you're pursuing is important. In marketing, how I found my job was the story. How I found my job was, I have a classmate, and she used to work with my ex-boss at Tomato Bakery before, and he posted a comment on LinkedIn looking for an intern. So I saw that she replied to him on LinkedIn saying that I know some people that I can recommend to you. I reached out to her. I'm not very close to her, but I know her through my class. I reached out to her and I say, you know what, I think I want to be great at it. This is the opportunity I'm looking for. Would you mind recommend me to him? And she did. And with my personality, I would probably not have done that, but I understand that in order to do well, I chose to work here. I chose to look for an opportunity here. So I need to, and I can only me can take care of myself, and I need to do something for things to happen. And this is how it works in the industry. So I did that. And I think that's very important for us, not to be shy and to be very proactive about what we want. And be nice to people, be confident about yourself, and know how to sell yourself. I think that's the first qualities that will help you get your foot into the door.
Thank you for your advice. How about you, Chiling?
So for it's true, the PR marketing communications industry is very large. So come back to that. For you in school, they all talk together. And it's the same when I was in school too. I learned a bit of everything. A little bit marketing, a little PR, a little advertising. But once you graduate, you can choose to work either on the client side, like what Ngọc is doing right now. For big corporates like LLB, P&G, Wendy, Honda, Toyota, all of those big brands that you see on TV. So that's the client side. And within the client side, you have the brand team, the marketing analyst team, the research team, the trade team, all of that. And then also you can choose to work on the agency side, which is what I'm doing. And even in the agency side, it's breakdown to a creative agency like my ad agency, and then you have PR agency, you have digital agency, you have media placement agency. So rest assured that there are plenty of jobs out there for you, and you just it's hard to get the specific down to the specific. You really don't have to decide right now. Just know generically what you want to do and just try out. You can work. A lot of people work on the agency side and then they go to the client side and vice versa. If you want to work in an ad agency, again, there are multiple positions too. Like for an account person, technically, to be honest, there's not a lot of hard skills that requires. Actually, there's more soft skills. you need to know a little bit of everything as an account person. You need to know a little bit of productions, a little bit about, how the creative process, how creative people come up with copy, how they design something, like the layout. And then, of course, a lot of soft skill of how to communicate with your client, how to play politics a little bit, to be the neutral voice, uh, to sell your creative idea to your client, but then at the same time, communicate the feedback to your creative team without, offending them or demotivate them. But then if you want to work in a creative field, if your strong suit is, design, of course, train on that, learn everything, Photoshop, all the, Photoshop, Illustrator, uh, productions, art directing skills, and that will get you to do the fun, cool stuff, and or be a very good writer if you want to be a copywriter, or start picking up, video, put up your own YouTube channels, start learning how to code if you want to be a digital or a video producer. So things like that you can start here just to educate yourself, and also to find out, what you want to do and what interests you. So yeah, I guess that's cover everything.
Thank you for an advice. Moving on. So if you're the recruiter, Ling, what are the job criteria you look for in the applicants?
Definitely, for my field, it's very essential to communicate well. Basically, express yourself, express the idea, sending, email that to the point and precise, because everything moving very quickly. People don't have time to, read your novel of email. Just, know how to summarize everything and get the point across quickly. Then also, yeah, of course, knowledge of the industry in general. At least you have to know what's out there, what's the latest, the greatest, what's the trend of the market. And yes, like Ngọc says, a lot of time, just be confident. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Yep.
Okay, thank you for your answer. How about you, Timo? What would you look for?
If it depends on the level that you are applying for. If you're applying for something above managerial role, I would be looking for something different. But I know that a lot of people who are interested in this seminar are probably looking for entry level roles, so which I will speak about that because I have just more experience hiring intern and entry level role. So the one advice that I would share is that when I interview with a lot of people, I think it will be to your advantage that you ask your interviewer what the role is about, and then base your answer on that rather than oversell yourself for some role that is not really this role, because the job description sometimes it doesn't really tell you what the role really is until you meet with the interviewer and ask them questions. So in my team, we hire a marketing analyst, and that is very different from marketing and researcher. And a lot of people come in and then sell themselves that they will make really good marketing researcher. And although they are they are very qualified candidate, but we know immediately that the expectation doesn't match with each other. So even if we hire them, they're gonna be disappointed because this is not the role that they want. So really try to understand about it. You need to interview the interviewer and see that if it's the role for you, and how do you tailor your answer based on their information.
Yeah.
is
it's true.
critical.
Yes, it's true. Especially, it's true. Like a lot of the time, you see some job posts, and if this is your first job entry level, a lot of time you don't know the specifics. So try to do research as much as you can, but yes, at the same time, come in and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask
Mhm.
questions.
I'm sure that's very helpful advice. So thank you. Moving on. Do you have anything that you guys wish you had known before in entering the industry? Wish to undo something or wish you have done something? How about you, Chino?
um, it's not an easy question.
Mm.
Let me think. I wish this is a little bit silly, but I wish I had the audacity to make the move to switch my job uh, before now, before the actual time I made my job switch. So I worked at my previous company for a little bit over 3 years, and you kind of need to know yourself and know what you're looking for. So when I was in the job, when you are in the job already, try to understand where you are, where your company is, and see if they are the industry leader or they are the industry follower or they just falling behind the industry or not. Because if you are in a place that is falling behind the industry, there's no point of staying there because you are not really learning from the leaders. So I wish that I had done it earlier because in the last 1 year my job it wasn't very exciting, and I wish that I had spent the time to learn it at a new job. But it's so that is something that I would like to pass on the advice to others. Is that it's not you kind of need to see yourself in a bigger picture that put where you are at, where your company is, and then compare to the industry trend. Because you always want yourself to be to learn a lot, to be very resourceful, and that's how you will advance in your career.
Mm-hmm. Well, better late than never, right?
Yes.
How about you, Chili?
Um, it doesn't it's an ongoing learning even when in your like 7, even 10, 20 years in your career, you still exploring and learning about an industry and learning about yourself. The one thing about advertising industry is it's it's an industry that people jump around a lot, and it's and it actually, if you're in the industry, like rarely the turnover rate is pretty high in advertising agency. Usually you stay in a job for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then you jump, and that's basically the only way to get a raise or a raise in title too. And then also, you change the client. So I'm already do consumer packaging good with Unilever. I did pharmaceutical with my previous client Novartis. Wendy's is what they call quick service restaurants, and I'm actually transitioned to LG. Yeah, home appliance, mobile, all of that, electronics, LG. Next month, that will be my next client. Um, and so, he don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid of changing. It's the only way that you learn that, and you figure out what you actually like, what you comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I wish that I know more, and then back in the day, when I was in college, it wasn't as big. It's just the beginning, so I didn't pay much attention. Is the digital size of advertising, all the uh, a lot of technical stuff. Like I wish I would know better on how to develop a website, all the hard skills that I learned, so I could transition to a digital agency or a digital account much quicker. But again, it's never too late. So I hope with my next role with LG, which is all digital production, then I will continue to grow. And with the industry and with the technology nowadays and how young people consume media, yeah, digital is the new way to go.
Dylan, can I ask you some questions?
Yes, sure.
How congratulations on moving to LG. I'm sure that's
Thank you.
super exciting for you.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
And how did you make that transition? The reason why I asked this question is I think is pretty important for all of us to know that when you are in one company, there are opportunities inside that can help you grow further as well.
So it's actually very interesting. So LG, so I transferred to LG team. So not LG team of my agency, not LG the client. So I'm still at my agency, just moving to a different team, work with different client. And to be honest, it's just the head of the head of digital marketing in my agency. He shared the same floor with me. So somehow he just noticed, the way I work with my team, and I guess he liked what he saw, and he just approached me, and he's just like, oh, I know you've been working at an agency, working with Wendy's for a while, and I know they only do traditional advertising. Now I have an opening position on my team, and I like your enthusiasm. I like the way you work. I think you would fit well with my team. Like, are you interested? And he just recruited me, and and for me it's a good opportunity too. So of course I said yes to that. But basically the moral of the story is, I guess, just to always have a good attitude. There's days that is just there are days that it's a lot, and you just want to, so stressful that but just go walk around with a smile, be enthusiastic, really eager to learn, and someone will notice. You never know who would notice,
That's a really good advice. Always be prepared, because opportunities are always around you.
Yes. Yep. Opportunity can come that in the least way that you expect, like in ways that you don't expect. So.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, being an international student before, what do you think are the opportunities and challenges of Vietnamese students when they're considering the PR jobs in the U.S., the possibility of having a PR job in the U.S. or a marketing job?
Yes. So I can say from my experience, like for PR, strictly, if it's PR, it's pretty challenging for international students. So there's a lot of PR agency in New York. The people who work there, they basically, I don't know, you have to have connection, like a lot of big connection, and it's hard for international students who don't grow up here. And so Bill, if you're lucky enough to go to a big university, be friends with everyone, be nice to everyone, be friends with everyone. You never know who's your classmate will end up in in anywhere. So one of those connection, one of those your friends one day will help you. So always have try to expand your network as much as you can. For advertising, marketing agency, learn the culture. A lot of the pop cultures go all the way. Sometimes you have to go all the way back to the 70s to the 60s. Watch. I know it's weird, but watch as much TV as you can. Watch as much movies. Listen to all different kinds of music. Be able to get jokes, get cultural references, because that's what's gonna come up every day in your job. They're creatives that come to you that you like, that reference to some celebrity, some obscure 60, 80 celebrities that you didn't grow up with. Like, who's that? Like, so yeah, do research and try to read as much as you can.
Sheila, would you like to add anything on that?
Yeah, actually, what Elaine said is really, really true, and I didn't notice that, but it's very, very true too. About understanding all that pop culture, all that cultural reference. Because if you work in marketing, people I want to talk about that with you, and it's very important in marketing. You work in you anywhere you work in a team, and it's important to have good relationship with your teammate. Because they are incredible resources for you, and they are the one help who help each other finish the job well. Another thing that I would like to add, and also is that in marketing, like in my role in particular, you look at the data and you need to. A good analyst is be able to tell the story from the data and can recommend an action. So a lot of the marketing data is tied together with what happens around you. So for example, last year we had that government shutdown in late October, early November, as I remember, and people just stopped shopping during the government shutdown. And so like don't be oblivious to what is happening around you, because you need to be able to make the connection between that and what you are working on to provide people the full the picture of what's happening. That's what connecting everything together makes you a really, really valuable analyst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and one big challenge for foreign students is the work visa thing. Companies nowadays like less and less willing to sponsor work visa unless you are very, very valuable to them. So once you get to foot in, even like just as an intern or an entry level, you have to give 200%, go beyond expectation, go like 3 steps ahead of time. Like if they ask you for something, to give them like 5 things back. Um, just be very proactive. I know that so in my old company, in my old job, one of the interns, she's a Chinese student. She's from Columbia University, which is a pretty prestigious university. But then at the same time, she just have an attitude that at the end of the day, we like the whole team had to agree that we have to keep her and we have to sponsor her visa, because like whenever we asked her to research something, she'd come back with things that she would spend time and dig very deep and just come back with amazing results that nobody else can. That be so. I know it's hard. It's hard for native students to get a job. It's hard for everyone to get a job nowadays. And when you're a foreign student, you just have to try a lot harder.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
Yeah.
always stay on top of the game.
Yeah, basically stay on top of the game, knows everything. But then not to discourage, but I feel like for international student, one thing that you have better than a lot of American student is the knowledge of the world. Like for some, we do know a lot about everything that's happened around the world in a lot of other fields that sometimes you think is not related at all. Like, but the more you know, the better. Like, I feel like sometimes my random knowledge about biology or geography help too. So, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So moving on, would like to talk to you about the job opportunities for college undergraduates at this time in the U.S. So I believe this is the question a lot of participants would be curious about. Can you give us an idea about job market for this industry in the U.S. at this current time?
Well, I'm not looking right now, so I cannot give you like the right now moment. But let me think how I can give helpful information for you. Start early. I would say start early with an internship first, because and well, the thing with I think for Ling is slightly different from me. if you work on the client side, like for example, you go to Tommy Hilfiger, you go to career page and you try to find job opening there. It's usually on the fly, like when there's opening, then they will post the job online. So you just need to keep checking back frequently, and that's very different from like banking and finance, where they have recruiting season. So the recruiting season, then that you have to play by their calendar. But if you go on the more of like a specific company, then you just need to have to check very frequent. The way I know that is so many companies that you can look at to find a job, and you probably have to spend a few hours on each job application. So what I did in the past was I go to LinkedIn. I look for. I know I wanted to be in New York City, so I narrowed down that okay, I need to find Clark University. I went to Clark University alumni in New York City, and and I want to find the people in marketing first. So I connected with all of them. I searched for openings in their companies. That's how I started it, and it's my way of filtering down my list. Because when you start a job searching, the most overwhelming thing is choices. You just have too many choices. So I don't know if my answer is helpful or not. Let me know and keep asking. Feel free to ask me more questions so I can dig a little bit deeper. But to be honest, I'm not looking at the entry level market right now, so cannot really say about it.
I understand. How about you, Chilling?
No, I think the job market's bounced back bounced back pretty decently the past year. I think the economy kind of growing back up. My advice is just to know, for when you're in New York, New York is a big city. There's tons and tons of opportunities. The competition is also pretty stiff, but where's your school is, learn about all the company in the area. Big corporate like Wendy's or P&G, they have internship program very early. For example, they already start the summer in. They post the summer for summer intern. You have to start looking in winter already. But yeah, stay on top. Dig into the website, into LinkedIn, and have for my industry though. For ad agency industry, the job there's always opening. Like I said, because the turnover rate is very high. Not all the jobs are posted up in on Craigslist or in LinkedIn or anything at all. It's just keep opening, and you just have to know and just put yourself out there, and people will find you because there are a lot of recruiters in my field. Update your LinkedIn. Try to stay on top. You don't have to pay premium, but I guess keep posting articles, professional articles, just so you stay on top of the search list. I'll put like the title that you want to, the kind of job that you want to look for. Put it in your title. For example, win something, advertising or marketing something. Like whatever job that you aim for, put it in your title. So when recruiters search for you, it come up, and maybe they reach out for you. But it's not. I think it's good. It's there are always opportunities out there.
Well, I guess that's good news for students out there who are looking for jobs, right?
Yes.
So, what PR, marketing, communications have been so popular everywhere. So, what are your views about the future development of this industry 2 to 3 years from now?
I will speak first because
Okay.
the big, I mentioned a few times, it is in my, from the start of the webinar, is big data. And one thing with big data, that has been the talk for the past 3 years, and no one has been able to hack it.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's gonna get bigger and bigger because if you look at the way television works now with Netflix, with cable TVs slowly disappearing and subscription like Hulu Plus, Netflix creeping in everyone's life, that is going to change the future of TV advertising. So before, like let's say a company like LL Bean, we have no money to put money in like a Super Bowl ad because that's millions and millions of dollars, right? And that goes to everyone. But now, if it's a Hulu Plus, we know exactly who you are. We know that should I show you a Super Bowl ad or not. So in the future, it's gonna be the future where we're not gonna have the money to spend on a national Super Bowl ad, but we will have money to spend on one Super Bowl ad for one targeted person, so they will come and shop at LLB. So it's personalization, very individually targeting. I think that's going to be the future of marketing and advertising when all the technology allow us to know exactly who you, not anonymously, but we know who you are. We know we can predict what you like, what do you do in your life, so we can have you make better decisions with marketing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your answer. So the last question we'd like to ask you would be giving 3 advices. I know that you guys have been giving a lot of advices for participants from at this point, but like maybe anything else other than that for current undergraduates pursuing PR jobs, not just in the U.S. What would they have to do? Any extra?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to go back home. So in Vietnam, it's such an emerging market. It's booming, and you actually I feel like this. I work both in ad agency in Vietnam and ad agency here. Um, Everything here is very segmented, is very specialized. You actually, because it's such a everything is very professional already. So you have a role and you have a set. You'll be assigned just like a set of role for your position. But in Vietnam, you actually get to learn a lot. You need to wear a lot of hats because the talents pool there are obviously not as big as here. So when you come back, you will be very available. You will have the opportunity uh, to work like what's the word, Zach? Like get practice in a lot bigger project in a lot of different aspects. So don't be afraid to go home at all. There are also a lot of opportunity there for you. And
So your answer helps us make a really nice transition into the Q&A part because we just received a question from the participants who asks, what do you think are the challenges for college undergraduate to apply for internship in PR advertising agencies in the US if they don't have experience working in the US before but only have internship experience in Vietnam? Because Chilling, I know that you say that you worked in Vietnam for 2 years, right? So what would you say? You say that you use a very interesting term, which is wear many hats. What would you say? You say that it would be good. Don't be afraid to jump back to Vietnam, and then because it's a great opportunity anyway. But what would you say are the challenges for people who don't have experience and want to transition from Vietnam to the US right now?
uh, for if you I mean if you've done any internship, that's really good to mention. Just do if you have put it in your cover letters. Let them know what you done, what you experience with. Um, I know this is kind of a sad reality too for internship in a lot of time it's all about connection and who you know. For example, my agency have internship program, which you can apply right now. Just internship at pkt.com. Uh, However, so about 60% of those application, like the people that they take in, are very real, high quality candidates. 40%, be honest, is son and daughter of someone. So yeah, it depends on who you know and how you present yourself. Sometimes if you don't get chosen, it's not because you're bad enough. It's not because you're not good enough. Um, it's it's also luck too. But basically show your enthusiasm. Put whatever you already done, uh, whatever experience you accumulate, even extra curriculum at school. Even if you have your own blog, you have a YouTube channel, if you if you're active online, because social media is very big nowadays. Include all of that. Teach yourself Google Analytics, like things like that, and you know, and tell people what you know. Yeah.
How about you, Chino?
Um, if you have, if I were a recruiter, and I actually interview a lot of Chinese students that try to intern at Home People before, and one thing I look for, if they don't have the internship experience in the U.S. and they only have internship experience in their home country, I'll be looking for a established name in their own country, because I interview a lot of people who only work at domestic company before, and I would not say it was very professional experience. It's just that there are a lot more credibility when you work for a well-known name in your home country, so that they know that the experience you have kind of have an international standard, and they can trust what you say, and the name just catch people more, like it makes a resume more memorable, and that's what makes you stand out from 500 other resumes that you have.
Thank you for your answers. So the next question that we receive is there anything that you don't like about your career? Anything that you don't like about your job right now, or the career that you're pursuing? Would you like to start, Tilly?
Very interesting, because for example, for me, a lot of time have to do with legal issue. Like you have to send all your advertising to your legal department to trademark infringement. Everyone's looking for a paycheck in the U.S. Everyone wants to sue everyone here. So everything you have to involve with the lawyers, with the network clearance. So that's one aspect of my job that I don't really like. So yeah, like once you get into a job, there's always the reality part, that sometimes it's not all glamour and fun and awesome. There are things like that. You have the tedious thing you have to deal with, and also, to be honest, it's marketing and advertising. Sometimes you wonder yourself, you have brilliant brains sitting around a conference room trying to figure out how to sell burgers. And sometimes you definitely, there are moments that you question yourself. You're like, what am I doing for the world? Like, I'm not saving. The time that you bust your ass up to make a deadline, and if you mess up, everyone gets so pissed off and stuff, and you were like, for what? Like, we're not helping people, we're not curing. This is not an
We're not curing
ER.
cancer.
I know. But then at the end of the day, then it's but then you look at and again, that's a fun side of it. For like I said, like you get to work with a lot of creative people, a lot of good brains, and just cool, fun environment. Basically, it's just something that you can wake up and feel that you can bring yourself to work, and it won't be a bad day. So, yep.
Thank you. So, what about you, Ngọc?
I can identify myself very well with what Chilling said.
Yeah.
Just like wake up and say, what are we doing today? And a lot of times we stay at the company till midnight, and then everyone got so stressed out, and we're like, we're not curing cancer. Why? Why do we do this?
It's just marketing, Yeah, it's not rocket science, though. But then I think, in the grand scheme of it, marketing and advertising and PRs is what make the economy grow, and that's so.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun as in like, and you look among. There's numbers surrounding you, Excel sheets surrounding you, and when you find something, when you find like a purchasing pattern of the customer that they are behaving the way you don't expect them to behave, but because you learn about this, there's a way you can tweak the way you market to them is really valuable. So, for example, I can give you an example. LLB has a lifetime guarantee policy. So that means that if you buy a pair of shoes 20 years ago and today you suddenly feel like it's not performing to your standard, you can bring it back. You can bring it back, and we'll give you full refund or exchange for a new pair. So that kind of policy is really expensive, but there's no way we are going to change that policy, because that's how we treat the customer and we think the customer, and that's how we market ourselves when we really have 100% confident about our product. But then in the recent years, our returns just jump up more than normal. So digging into what kind of people that suddenly change the way the return behavior, and if we can identify them, then we will stop marketing to them, because if they are abusing our policy, what's the point of spending our marketing dollar on them? So you cannot really change like the big picture of how the company treat the customer, but from your finding you can kind of tweak and make your marketing more efficient. So it's not easy, but like cracking those things is I think it's fun when from a marketing analyst point of view. So that's the bright spot of my job.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already convinced to buy your company's products.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, I agree. Like and then definitely work for a company that at least you can stand behind their philosophy. Like for a company that you like, at least. Like for example, I know I don't think I can ever work for McDonald's as a client. I mean, yeah, when it's also fast food, but like we as an agency, we can. It's not going to change overnight, but as the partner, we also try to change the way they marketing and the operation, so it's bring more benefit to the consumers, because at the end of the day, the consumer is always is the final goal. So we always advise them better food quality, make it fresher, and because that's the way the market is. So always make the product better.
So this is just out of my curiosity, but you guys both mentioned that for this industry we need to always stay on top of the materials, and that materials include something that you don't like, something you need to be very resourceful. You need to know TV shows, you need to know movies, you need to know references. So the thing that you don't like that part about the job, that you have to listen to what you don't like and research about people that I'm not interested in, but you still have to do that to stay on top of the game.
We actually lost you a little bit.
Oh, okay. So my question is just that you say that you need to stay on top of the materials, which includes that you have to know TV shows, you need to know movies and songs, and about the people that you don't actually love personally. Do you think that that's also like a back down, like something that you don't like because you need to know about something that you don't like?
Oh, you just need to know about it. You don't have to like, like for example, like I don't watch Game of Thrones, but if people reference to it, at least like, I read about it enough to know who's in it, like who play the bad guys, who the good guys, there's dragon in it, like things like that. Because it's top line. Nobody can be experts about everything, but just, just basically the trend, what's going on out there. So when people bring something up, you don't just like sit like near the headline. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's all.
So you just need to stay on top of the trends.
Yes, and there once you're in the job, there are tools like your employees, your client will equip you with tools too. Like I receive, report every day, daily emails on the competitors, like what's running on TV right now, what product is out there, what new sandwich, what kind of bacon, things like that. So don't worry, yeah. So yeah, you have tools to help you too.
Well, so this is our last questions. So, Chino, you mentioned something about the social media, about how big it is right now. Um, and so a participant asked us that these days many recruiter request for social media portfolios. Do you have any tips on how to put one together and how to manage your social media footprints?
That project link can probably answer better because I did not mention social media. I think Link mentioned about that, and I'm not very familiar with the social media portfolio.
Okay.
It's more of an advertising thing.
Okay, so Chitling, do you want to answer that?
Who asked for social media portfolio? Like I would never give anyone my Facebook link. But yeah, I guess what they meant by that is you don't just like they will ask, are you familiar with what? So yeah, if that's the job you want, build a whole set of for that. Build right now, start something else. Like have a Twitter that's just and put all the tweet regard about the things that you like. For example, yeah, you can have two Twitter or two Facebook accounts. Who cares? And one used for the field that you like. Your one Twitter, just put everything that you see is funny. You go outside on the street, you see a good print ad, take a picture, put on Twitter. You see some link that you want to share it on your Twitter. So that would be the one that you bring to your recruiter. Have a set up a blog and just you do it one blog post a day, one blog post a week, once a week. Have that share that to your recruiter. Things like or you don't even
So I guess it's more about it's more relaxed.
Yeah,
right?
it's more relaxed and just I think what they meant is just how familiar you are with social media. So and there nowadays there's so many out there. There's Tumblr, there Reddit, BuzzFeed, you name it. So just familiarize yourself, and you can and when they ask, you can just talk to about it at some level. But like I said, nobody can be expert on anything, on everything. But that's what they looking for is just your level of familiarity, and basically you can put your point of view to it because uh, as an employee you also a new generation too. Like every organization are run by a different generations. They older, and then the consumers out there are the millennials, the Generation Z, and then and the recruiter, the entry levels. That's what you can bring into like your perspective of your generation. So yeah, the knowledge of your own generation, the insights you can share with them, and that's why they bring in the new young guns.
Mhm. Since we still have 10 minutes, I'd like to ask one last question. So, uh, as the Vietnamese, what do you think that the participants should do according to your appearance, according to your experience, that would differentiate yourself from other applicants who are looking for jobs? Ngọc, would you like to answer that?
You say to distinguish yourself from everyone else.
In the job searching process.
I would say that. So I'll tell you an example. Before I left my job at Tommy, I and another database manager, we hired people, and we didn't do a lot of we hired him.
A lot of echoing.
Yeah, there's a lot of echoing.
No? Better?
Yeah, this is better. Oh, I can still hear echoes.
I do too.
Did you remove your headphones? Did you?
I did, but it happened before I removed it. Let's try again. No?
We can still hear a lot of echoes. So because every time I talk, I can hear my voice.
Yeah, there's some echo from your end too, mine. I just
better.
okay. Yep.
Okay, so Tina, would you like to give it another try?
I keep it short. First is create a portfolio that expresses who you are and what you're interested in. It doesn't matter what it is, like it can be like a Tumblr, a blogspot, as long as you put your time and effort in it, it shows the recruiter who you are. And the second thing is do something that is related. So as you said, like if you are interested in digital marketing, learn Google Analytics. It's something free, and you can get certification from there, and it shows that you are doing something that shows you actually do something that shows your interest in the job.
How about you, Chitlin? Any last advice?
I think, yeah, like I know there's a lot of competition out there. You have, the Chinese students, you have the Korean, the Filipinos, but yeah, basically, it's all about, at the end of the day, sometimes when you have 2 or 3 candidates with the same qualification, a lot of time it's come down to who they think will fit better with the team, the personality. So, as we come from a culture that's pretty reserved. A lot of entry level, a lot of the students are pretty shy. But at the same time, I feel like we're not as nerdy as the Chinese. So, so just don't be afraid to show some sort of your personality. Always be friendly, smiling, so they know that you can fit in and you can fit in and work with everyone, work as a team. That's that's my final advice when it's come down to that.
Um, so I just get that echo again. So since our time for the webinar is up, we would like to end it here. Once again, I would like to send the most sincere thank you to our wonderful guest speakers. Thank you for taking time to answer the participants' questions and sharing with us your amazing experience. And thank you to the audience who have been here with us today. We hope to see you again in our upcoming webinars, at which we'll cover a lot more different job industries. Thank you again, and bye-bye.
Oh, thank you.